county board do today?
No, not much. They can look at a couple of retirements and they earmark some ARPA funds.
Who got it?
The child care committee,
Oh, really?
yeah, they got 400,000.
Yeah.
They got a few projects coming up, though. That's what they said it's for.
Yep, they only earmarked it, right?
Yeah, they have earmarked it, so it's not haven't used yet. It's there if they need it. And there was some discussion about that. They now 400,000. We really need this much. I'm gonna put it in there now.
Well, they need to do some, I don't know what it is.
Well, they're working with
Like a good, bad, vicious circle, you know?
yeah, we're working with daycare. Well, I'm trying to help out with this.
Yeah.
That'll be a big help. Start talking about all these buildings that need built and all this other stuff the money could go to. And how many people go to that?
Yeah.
We're gonna help people back to work.
Uh,
I think it all ends up in the right way.
yeah.
Okay, they'll ask you to change it when we get logged in.
you go to this quiet?
Not that many.
Call this meeting to order. Please rise and join me in the pledge of allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Robin?
Yes.
Brad?
Yes.
Jill? Jamie, yes. Chad?
Yes.
Jessica?
Yes. All right, do we have any visitors tonight that would like to address the board? Seeing none, we'll go on to Mr. Fox and the financial report.
Okay, we ended July with a net fund balance of $21,140,249. Operating funds made up $19,220,581.02. In the education fund, we received locally $456,396.11. From the state, we received $20,265.15. And federally, we received $14,554.83. Expenses over $5,000 are listed out separately in your packet. And our recommendations are, we did not have any activity in the interest account because we had a short month. So it would only be to pay the bills in the amount of $1,393,561.55. And there is no credit card bill this month because the meeting happened before the state. So.
All right, any questions for Mr. Fox? All right, seeing none, I will entertain a motion and a second to approve the financial report and the payment of bills in the amount of $1,393,561.55.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Chad,
Second it?
second by Brad, roll call.
Brad?
Yes.
Jamie, yes. Chad?
Yes.
Jessica? Yes. Robin?
Yes. Okay, next we have the consent agenda. This month we have minutes from our last regular meeting and the tech committee meeting that were enclosed. No cafeteria report, no student teachers. We do have a couple of fundraisers. The EHS football and basketball cheer squads would like to hold a cheer clinic. Entry fee $40 per child for first through fifth graders. They will cheer at the September 23rd football game before the game starts. To raise funds for cheer expenses for both football and basketball cheer. That will be September 18th to the 23rd. Also, EJHS Student Council would like to sell school apparel online, an online store. The cost will vary based on current market price. Raise funds to support school-wide projects and promote school spirit. That would be September through May 22-23. And that's it for the consent agenda. Any questions or comments? All right, if not, I'll entertain a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda.
Motion.
Motion by Desha. I'll second that. Roll call.
Jamie, yes. Chad?
Yes.
Jessica?
Yes. Robin? Yes, Brian.
Yes.
We have no correspondence this month, so we're ready for the superintendent's report.
The foundation reports is included in here, correct? Emily, I believe you're going to present some FOIA report to you. Now, we're going to have Emily fix a little update on the technology at this point.
All right, I just really wanted to give an update on what we all accomplished this summer in terms of upgrading and updating our systems and repairing things that need fixed and removing things that aren't. It really is, it takes a lot of people. It takes a lot of coordination, and I think I just wanted to brag on the guys on how much they got done over the summer. And so I thought this picture just like exemplified everything about this summer. You guys took it on me pretty easy, or the district did last summer. So I was new July 1st last year, and I was like, hey, this isn't too crazy. But this year, I feel like I need 4 more arms, and I need more devices and screens, and half-eaten food on top of my laptop kind of thing. So I've kind of felt a little frantic, but we're working through it with all these awesome things that we're getting ready for our kids and teachers so that their equipment's working and it's running effectively and all of that. We've also invested quite a bit of money. You guys have approved and allowed us to spend that kind of money to provide these updates that we need. So I just wanted you guys to see that we're following through with these projects and that we're getting these working devices in the hands of teachers and students. So I'm going to kind of go building by building. Some of these are repetitive. I'm just going to kind of highlight a few key things. You can see this list isn't everything, but some of those bigger things that we've gotten done. So for teacher equipment, we've built 48 desktops and redistributed 50 plus desktops just at the high school. So, as things are built, we can repurpose things other places. Creating and re-imaging all computer labs, it's very time consuming. Updating teacher laptops and desktops. We also finished the installation of our smart interactive flat panels. We have some going into at Central, but we had ordered a total of 100 of those. 60 got installed over the school year, and then 40 this past summer. So quite a bit of new awesome tech for the teachers. They actually had smart panel training today. Student devices, we updated our laptop loaner carts, some of our other laptop carts that are used by our science department. We completed 2 rounds of updates for student laptops. Now that's just grades like freshman through junior. There's about 600 of those. Also going through and fixing broken screens, missing keys, all the things, getting those things up and running for our kids. We set up new freshman laptops, approximately 185, to get that rotation started that we had discussed. We created new inventory tags. They're kind of falling apart, make the devices look nicer in the bags. Hanging more equipment in the cafeteria with TVs. We got some iPads set up for our weight room, which is going to be pretty cool for the students and the athletes, being able to record the weight that they're lifting and all of that, and have some statistics and some data on what they're accomplishing in the weight room. Installation of 30 plus access points to improve our Wi-Fi. This is a pretty huge deal, and it involves the cabling and getting up in the ceilings and things like that. But that's going to be an important piece to keeping, our devices working well and everything that we're doing. Removing old equipment from rooms and carts. We're kind of shifting away from more desktops because students have the laptops now. So just kind of getting rid of things that are still lingering in there. And then setting up a registration laptop at all buildings. So that's just the high school, and that was a lot of things for me to kind of spit out. I'm going to kind of sum these up a little bit quicker because, again, they're a little repetitive with the updates to the teacher laptops and desktops. The big one at the junior high is that the guys in the summer crew built and installed new desktops for our STEM labs, teachers, and admin, approximately 110 desktops. If you think about how many days are in a summer, that's pretty impressive. In addition to the 2,300 district student devices that they touched and updated. Moving cases, again, getting those updates for student laptops to make sure all of the browsers and the software and everything is going to be up to date. Installing more TVs in the library and laptops, for registration purposes. Central, we took some of the older smart boards that were in better condition at the high school since they got the new smart interactive panels and moved those over to other buildings to make sure that they had ones that were in really good shape. Hanging more smart panels in the music rooms over at Central. We also have, again, those updates to the student devices. We had to take the graduating classes devices and kind of redistribute those to different places within the district. We focused on Central because they had the oldest, so kind of repurposing where those are at. Moving and rewiring the library lab, again, just very time-consuming things, removing old equipment. South side with that renovation, we had to remove all the equipment out of there, then get it back in there. So you're talking laptop carts, desktops, smart interactive panels, phones, everything. So in addition to the teacher and student updates, also the renovation affects our tech side as well. ELC East side, again, there were some things happening at ELC in terms of like carpet replacement and some painting. So again, tech comes out so that we don't destroy it. It keeps it in good working shape, putting it all back in and installing it. In addition, at ELC, a PA system and office equipment. And then at East side, getting all those iPad carts updated as well. So Again, I know there's another slide. Other things that didn't fit necessarily at the building levels that are big district upgrades. And I can't believe I keep forgetting this one, but we actually improved our internet speed from 1 gig to 2 gig. So that was a pretty big deal. We did that at the beginning of August. So hopefully our teachers, with the amount of access points we installed in this internet upgrade, they're going to see that change hopefully in the classroom. Hopefully we have less lagging and that kind of thing. Software updates on our data center. Online registration, there's a whole team of people trying to answer registration emails. I know Michelle probably remembers those days of answering all those emails and then processing those applications and getting kids rostered in their classes for all the different digital applications that we use. Uploading our data to the state, that's how we get our funding. Those kinds of things that are really important that people don't really think about as much, but there's someone behind the scenes making those things happen. Planning for our migration to Akita Box because the maintenance team is getting ready for that too. So moving all of our tech inventory to that new system, website updates and that kind of thing. So didn't mean to spit that out very quickly, but I know everybody's time is precious. So I really just wanted to kind of brag on the IT team and the summer tech staff. They're awesome to work with, and just kind of a big thank you and our gratefulness and appreciation for them and getting our equipment up to date and getting it running for when kids are in the building on Wednesday. So that's what I've got.
Thank you, Emily. Great job too, you and your staff.
Thank you. Thank you.
Emily, do we partner with anyone like when we're destroying old equipment or recycling it or anything like that?
Well, I haven't had as much involvement with that quite yet, but Kirk has been kind of our person who does the recycling.
Okay.
So that's what we have done in the past. I don't know if Jason has more information on that, but
We work with a couple of different companies to recycle. In the past, we traded old TVs, a few laptops, things like that, trade that off. Last year we recycled, and I think we got back a check for a couple $100 for some of our devices.
Yeah.
This summer will be a little bit bigger because we have more quality devices to recycle. Where in the past, we just tried to always trade off TVs in spite of what we were getting.
I think it's going to become a greater topic we're going to have to revisit very soon about what happens with these student laptops. You know, we're going to
Yeah,
have
that's what I was more interested in.
we're going to have 2 to 3 classes worth every year, and what happens to them, and how are we getting kind of the most bang for our buck, or what can we repurpose them somewhere else or do something else with them. So yeah, those are decisions that haven't been made yet. So
Thank you.
Thank you, Emily.
yeah.
All right.
And I would just finish up that section, superintendent side of it, that we're off to a great start. Obviously, staff met this morning at the cafeteria at the high school. We had 5 board members present, which was awesome as well. Seems to be a pretty good stir around the district of people ready to go. I don't know, they're probably not as excited as I am, but I think we're all excited, so that's good. So I think it's been a pretty good day from what I could tell.
Seemed like there was a lot of energy and excitement in the room when all of the employees were in there this morning. So I'm sure it felt like it was off to a really good start.
Because I don't think that's the first time in 3 years we've been able to start the school year off.
The last 2 years we did meet
Right.
together.
Indeed.
All right, we are ready for new business. Let's get the first item, I guess, and go on to the second.
Well, we can, the strategic planning,
Mr. Bolts is the first one.
Right. but we got,
Oh,
it's actually, there's an action item on here though, to approve his proposal.
okay.
Now, I do have his power.
Okay, it said he was gonna present in person. I thought he was-
He's not.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. I thought it was just
Medical
like,
issue.
okay,
Yeah, no.
all right, sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, all of you have had an opportunity to look at the proposal. Does anybody have any comments or questions about it? We talked about it a couple of different meetings.
Looks good.
Yeah.
That looks good.
That's
I mean,
good.
I think the
Yeah.
references are good. Our own experience has been outstanding.
All
I
right,
will say that in conversation he and I had this past week, that there were some things brought up when he sat down with all of you through the superintendent search process. And one of those points that was brought up was them potentially doing an analysis of our district on staffing.
Mhm.
And I do believe that that's something that we should probably look into with him. This medical emergency came up all of a sudden, so he wasn't able to get me a price or even a layout of that, so I'll come back to you with that once he's ready.
Sure.
But I really do believe it'd be a great time.
And did he
Take a look
indicate
at
when
that.
he wanted to start this strategic planning process?
ASAP, he says the
Okay.
first step would be on me
Okay.
to go out and get and recruit some people. Be able to do some of the survey stuff and some of those kind of people to be on the committee and stuff. So
All right.
there'll be more information from him as soon as if you do approve him coming on board and doing this.
All right. If there are no other comments or questions, then I will entertain a motion in a second to approve the Educational Leadership Solutions Strategic Planning Process Proposal for the 22-23 school year.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Brad,
I'll second.
second by Jane. Roll call.
Jane, yes. Chad?
Yes.
Jessica?
Yes.
Robin?
Yes.
Brad?
Yes.
Motion carries. All right, now the intergovernmental agreement with the Effingham Library. Shelley?
Shelley, and I've
Okay.
asked her not to be here, but she did provide the information that's presented there.
And we did do this last year, I believe, too.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes. Any questions or comments on that?
I shared this with the cabinet the other day, but I just want to say that as kind of a perk of the job is really awesome because where I live, I'm not served by a library. So me and my kids, we go there every 2 weeks or so and get books. So it's it's an experience and it's something to do for the kids. So
Yes, I think it's a great opportunity. All right, and that does not take any action.
Nope.
Okay, then next we have the hazardous bus route resolution approval. Fox?
This is our annual hazardous bus route resolution. So every year we have to basically state that our routes haven't changed. They've been approved by the state and allows us to get additional reimbursement for transporting kids within those zones. So it's the same resolution we do every year.
Correct. Any questions, comments? All right, I will entertain a motion in a second to approve the hazardous route resolution for the 2022-23 school year.
Motion.
Motion by Dasha,
Second?
second by Chad. Roll call?
Chad?
Yes.
Jessica? Yes. Robin?
Yes.
Brad?
Yes.
Jane, yes.
Motion carries. Now, the FY23 tentative budget.
Fuel bid.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
I'm just skipping right.
Moving through it. Could you bundle them together?
Okay, sorry. Move it. All right.
Fuel bid's pretty easy this year. We actually only had one bidder. In the past, we've had Effingham Equity as well as South Central FS. Equity decided not want to bid this year, and so
Interesting.
South Central FS was the sole bidder. Their bid was the same as their price last year. It's 4 cents over rack price. So they bring us the actual rack price receipt and then the new bill with the 4 cents over that for both gas and diesel. So
Questions? Comments? All right, then I will entertain a motion and a second to accept South Central FS's bid to provide Unit 40 fuel for 22-23.
Make that motion.
Motion by Brown,
I'll second.
second by Jane. Roll call?
Jessica?
Yes.
Robin?
Yes.
Brad?
Yes.
Jane, yes. Chad?
Yes.
All right, now we have the 23 tentative budget, FY23.
okay. So as I say every year in this meeting, we always are conservative with our revenue and we are liberal with our expenses in our beginning of the year budget. We always plan that we're going to spend everything, end up in the hole in our funds, and every year we don't do that. And we end up in a much better spot than what we start. So, or what we say we're gonna do. So that being said, this year, I'll talk about the 4 operating funds first, and then I'll throw the other funds in toward the end. The education fund is our big fund. That fund is anticipated to have a deficit this year of $428,149. We have in there staff salary increases for both support and certified. We have building level general supply increases in there as well, technology upgrades, textbook purchases, salaries for new employees that we've added to the district for this year. ESER 3 revenue and expenses. So ESER 3, we have over almost $2 million in revenue and expenses, but that's money in, money out is in this as well. And then the one thing we haven't done is we do not put in administrative or BOE salary increases because we do those in the March area, so we don't put those into this, those increases. If we were to spend 100% of the items we put in there, which never happens because we do build in contingencies, moments, okay? Then we would end with a fund balance of $11,798,578 on June 30th. So still a very healthy fund balance in the ed fund. The O&M fund, that is estimated to have a deficit of $337,237. Again, we build in a lot of contingencies. This is our fund where when a rooftop unit breaks down, we replace it or repair it. And a rooftop unit may be $50,000 to $60,000 by itself, depending on which building we're talking about. So we build in contingency funds to take care of those kind of things. We also have in there staff salary increases, the expenses for the south side renovation. When we set up the south side renovation, we took $2 million of that out of ESER. However, there was still about $750,000 that had to come out of local funds. So those are built into this as well. The new parking lot of ELC, which was put out there by the Buildings and Facilities and Transportation Committee. So we built that cost in there. And we also have some fine arts upgrades, both at EHS and the junior high that we have built into the O&M fund. If we were to spend everything, the estimated fund balance on June 30th would be $1,547,537. Transportation, this fund is also estimated to have a deficit of $224,235. We actually, and I put purchase of 8 buses. We've changed that to 9 buses, so I'll change that before the next meeting. Purchase of a new maintenance truck and 2 new driver's education vans. Salary staff increases as well as building upgrades. If you've driven by transportation, we put a new roof on it this summer, but we need to paint it. If you drive by it, it needs a paint job. So that's included in there as well. The estimated transportation fund balance on June 30th would be $3,950,165. And then the last of the operating funds is working cash. We show a deficit in there of $427,429. And that deficit is because of the $750,000 cash transfer to help pay for the scoreboard and turf project at the sports complex that we just did the resolution for last month. That would still end us with a ending fund balance of $2,033,443 in that fund. Other funds, it's estimated the bond and interest fund would show an increase of $1,040. That would have an estimated ending fund balance of $162,450. Municipal retirement fund, if you remember when we did the tax levy last year, we talked about planned spend downs in some of these funds where you can only spend them in certain areas, and we don't want to build huge fund balances because that's just taxpayer money going in and being left in the bank account that we can't spend on anything. So we do planned spend downs on those. So that would be a decrease in that fund of $423,267, causing an ending fund balance of $616,274. The tort fund will show a deficit of $30,352. And then in the tort fund, we have things like the consideration of another possible SRO, increases in insurance, things along those lines are built into that total there. That tort fund will have an ending fund balance, estimated ending fund balance of $525,222. And the HLS fund will show an increase of $26,671. This will be the first year in several years it's had an increase because we've been paying for the junior high. And it'll have an estimated ending fund balance of $652,796. So that's a lot of information. What questions do you have that I can answer?
In the transportation line item, I think you got an extra digit there in the expected fund balance on 6/30/23.
That's me.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I was transitioning his information to this
Oh, okay.
sheet, so I apologize.
Want to make sure we correct it for when the minutes.
It's in the memo in the in the actual packet.
Okay.
That's right.
I saw that as he read it too.
And then what's our criteria when we change out the driver's ed vehicles, just out of curiosity?
So I always go off our mechanic, when he starts feeling like we're to that point. He would have liked to have done it last year, but we were trying to get state bid pricing. And state bid pricing is just now being finalized. The state has awarded the bid. I believe it's to Bob Ridings out of Taylorville, but they're finalizing the paperwork. As soon as they finalize that, we will have 2 vans to bring to you. Our vans right now are just over, I think we have 2 of them just over 170,000 miles on them, and we have 2 of them that are just over 150,000. So we'd like to do 2 this year and 2 next year.
Okay.
And we would trade those vans in.
All right.
I'm gonna talk about maintenance truck later, which
Sure,
is kind of the
absolutely.
same situation, so.
Last spring, we talked about wanting to start improving our libraries in all of our buildings. So have we budgeted anywhere in here for that to happen?
Yeah, so we actually have ESSER funds set aside for library upgrades. We also increased our library budgets substantially in the 4 buildings that have libraries currently.
Good.
So,
And have we made any, did we put any thought into creating one at ELC?
so the only issue with creating one of the ELC is there's no space. Currently, all of our classrooms are full, as well as we have doubled up special teachers in a couple of classrooms. So they would love to have one. They actually have a library in the hallway, outside the kitchen. In that hallway, we built, well, John
I've
Lyons.
seen kind of the
Yeah, John
shelves
Lyons
and
built the shelves and put a library in there, so they have a makeshift one, and they have a cart they
Right.
take from room to room so the kids can choose from it. And they would love to have one right now, it's just a
Right.
big issue.
Thank you. All right, any other questions for?
I was just wondering, if future classes, do we need to consider expanding that building, or do we have lower enrollment coming that will create space? I'm just curious.
I would like to bring to the facility committee some ideas.
Okay, I'll let the facilities.
I
Just curious.
find it pleasing that a library is optional in any building that we have because of space. I mean, it seems like we should try to get able to find, I understand that there's no room there, but I don't know if we can become more creative or whatever.
Yeah, that's what, if we're
Yeah.
expecting enrollment to keep that building full, then we need to
Come
Add a
up with
library.
another idea.
We-
To be
we-
the best
We've got a
in
good
the
plan
state
for
of
you.
Illinois.
Absolutely. There you go. We're gonna work on it, but
Okay.
it basically entails a construction grant that just came out. The due date on that is October 10th to apply for. And Jason and I have spoken when opportunity presents itself. And that could be something that we put in play. I will also tell you, and I agree with you 100% about libraries. Unfortunately, at Jasper, the last 2 years, we had to take the library out at our grade school, which was a 1 through 6 building because of COVID restrictions, and we had to utilize that area to spread kids out and put us in position, and we didn't like it. But again, we have to also be able to put kids in that building and make it.
Right.
So I think we're getting back to normal. It's time to,
Right, like Ted said, I mean, we probably have some enrollment ideas for coming years. I think whether we're going to decrease or whether we're going to stay steady or whatever, so that would.
The other thing to remember about kindergarten is a lot of the kids come in completely unable to read, and they've learned to read throughout the year. The teachers have libraries in their classrooms that they have created and through the school and so on, as well as the library in the hallway.
Right.
So having a full physical room might not be the best use of space at kindergarten because so many kids don't have that skill when they first come in. They learn it as the year goes. Or having it at first and second is vital to feed what they just learned how to do, right? So it's really the age and the ability level of the kids and how you grow that as they get bigger. So
Makes sense.
lots of things to consider when we do that.
I think that analysis we're talking about with Dr. Volz and Dr. White,
Right.
that might be another thing that we could throw in there. They come back and say, we're missing X number of librarians. Well, we only have a library in a building or two, so we probably need to build that space. So
All right, thank you.
I think that's a good point.
All right, any other questions for Mr. Fox?
I will throw one more out there
Okay.
that Jason and I talked about as we went through. I know with the new supply process and trying to get more for teachers and do it throughout the year. Basically, in a nutshell, when we discussed it, we had a building, I believe that was 2 buildings that were already over maybe where we were last year, which is okay. But I wanted, as we did this, to bring equality to every building. So we set the budget based on the number of students in that building to equate to other buildings, correct? That's what we ended up doing. Now, what that does, okay, is that lifted the expense to a very high level. And I guess the best thing that I can say is it's a budget. It's a tool.
Sure.
Okay, it doesn't mean we go out and spend $500,000 if that's what we've dedicated to it, just because we have $500,000 on it. So I hope people, and I want people to understand, yes, we want to provide, but we got to be careful about that a little bit too. But we've also built a pretty good safety blanket in there to be able to take care of some of these needs, and that's from an equitable standpoint. Would you agree? Yes. Okay.
And one of the big concerns, of course, when starting here was that we had some teachers spending quite a bit of money out of their own pocket. We were trying to ease that a little bit, so.
And it's a problem in a lot of
And
respects.
it's a problem probably
Right.
everywhere,
It's just hard to
especially in
break.
elementary schools, yeah,
Too.
so.
But I think this district's heading that direction, so.
Good. All right, anything else? All right, if not, I'll entertain a motion and a second to approve the FY '23 tentative budget resolution.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Chad,
I'll second that.
second by Brad, roll call.
Robin,
Yes,
Brad,
Yes.
Jane, yes, Chad.
Yes.
Jessica, yes.
motion carries. Approval to service ductwork on HVAC at the EHS Welding Shop.
So with our welding lab, we continue to increase in size and the number of kids that are in there, sections that are offered, which is great. But it's producing a lot more smoke and soot that's going into the air. We've had several engineers in to look at it, try to help us figure out what's going on. What we're having is we're changing the filters on our rooftop units every week because they are filling up. So we have to do something with that. Nobody had taken pictures when the welding shop was in use. Everybody's been in there and looked at it, talked about it. We had one firm actually take pictures while it was in use late in the spring, and it summed it up for us. We have a really high-end exhaust fan. We have ductwork coming down into all the booths, but we have a 12-inch pipe coming into each booth. What we were experiencing is if you had a 2x2 square and you dumped a bunch of dirt in it, and then you took your shop vac and you stuck it right in the middle, you're going to suck the dirt out of an area this big, but you're not going to suck all that dirt out of the 2x2 square. That's what's happening in our welding booths. Because we don't have a hood over the top of the booth where the smoke can go up and then funnel into the pipe, we just have the pipe, we're not catching all that coming out there. And so we got some proposals on actually taking what we have there and just building a hood out over each of those booths so that we can catch that. And then we got 2 prices, one from Intech, which they have to use a certain process to get their ductwork made, so they were much higher at $32,300. And one locally from KCH Mechanical, who does most of our ductwork for our district, and theirs came in at $14,130. That is much cheaper than replacing a rooftop unit because it burned up because the filter got full. Plus, it's just much healthier for us to be able to do it this way and save our equipment. So we'd like to move forward with the KCH Mechanical proposal to change out that and create some hoods.
All right. Any questions or comments?
How quickly can if we select KCH, how quickly can they get to this, knowing school's going to be starting here? So
They know how important it is for us. Kevin and I talked in depth about it, so he said they would get on it right away. They did 2 proposals. They did one if they put an individual hood over each booth, or if they did a larger hood over every 2 booths. And so we went with the larger hoods. It would be easier to create that and get it put in quicker. So
sounds good.
can I tell you if it'll be 2 weeks or it'll be a week? I can't, but
As quick as they
it'll be
can.
as fast as we can.
Okay.
they work very well with us.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No.
Then I'll entertain a motion and a second to approve KCH Mechanical's proposal to move forward with the servicing of the ductwork on the HVAC at the EHS Welding Shop.
Make that motion?
Motion by Brad,
Second.
second by Desha, roll call.
Robin?
Yes.
Brad?
Yes.
Jane, yes. Chad?
Yes.
Tricia? Yes.
Motion carries. Next, the approval to purchase a used maintenance truck.
In the past, we've always looked at brand new maintenance trucks. We buy them, we use them for 20, 25 years, and we sell them or trade them off. Right now, a new truck for us is a year and a half to 2 years out. We're going to try to do that. Plus, the state has not done a state bid on 3/4 ton or 1 ton trucks. That's how we've always gotten a good price on them. So we would like the opportunity to go out and look for a used 3/4 ton or 1 ton truck to replace the truck that John Lyons is using. We need a 3/4 ton or 1 ton. We're gonna look for a 1 ton first because we also use it for plowing snow. It's the truck we use to pull our lifts around whenever we have to haul them around, which are very heavy. And so we'd like the opportunity to have up to $60,000 approved to find a truck that our mechanic and our maintenance department feel is suitable for the job we need. Once that happens, they will bring that truck to Mr. Johnson for him to get final approval that yes, that's within what we've talked about here, and we can go ahead and move forward. The issue with the used truck is it's here today, gone tomorrow, and we have a board meeting every 30 to 35 days. That's hard to buy a used vehicle that way.
Yep.
So we would ask the board to allow us to do like we did on the JLG lift, have a limit, have Mr. Johnson have the final authority for purchasing that and move forward with that.
All right, any questions, comments? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion and a second to approve to purchase a maintenance truck not to exceed a cost of $60,000.
Make the motion.
Motion by Jane,
I'll second.
second by Chad, roll call.
Brad?
Yes.
Jane, yes. Chad?
Yes.
Tricia? Yes. Rob?
Yes, motion carries. Approval to purchase 9 new buses.
Every year, we come to you with a number of buses. We keep our fleet, we replace buses every 5 years because at 5 years, that's the last year that we get depreciation on those buses through the state. As soon as they come off our depreciation schedule, we then look to sell or trade them and update them with new buses. So our fleet stays top of the line. Of course, our mechanic helps that happen as well. But all of our buses are usually within 5 years of age. We would be looking to buy 9 71-passenger buses. Each bus would be equipped with new high-definition cameras. That's 3 cameras, one in the front, one in the middle, and one in the back. And then also a high-definition stop arm camera, which we talked about last year, became a real issue in our community. We had a lot of stop arm violations. It would also be fully equipped with air conditioning. That's become standard on all of our buses. So with these 9, we will be close to having our entire fleet fully air conditioned. So, which makes a big difference for our kids. With that, we would be looking to trade and or sell the 9 buses we'd be replacing. Trade-in values on 3 of those, because they're 2018s, would be $21,000 per trade. The 2020s would be $33,000 per trade. We do have some figuring to do on this. We have time to decide if we want to sell them or trade them. But the new buses are 380 days out from the day we order. Ordering those now means we don't have them until, late September, probably, maybe into October next year. So selling our buses outright is almost impossible this time around because schools are going to want them in August.
Right.
They're going to want them in July. If we don't have our new buses until October, we can't afford to be down 9 buses. So we're probably going to be looking at trading this time. And then with this kind of timeline, last year it was 280 days, this year's 380 days. So with this kind of timeline, we will probably bring more buses to you next year in March or April.
Right. So
that we can make sure we have them in the summer and we can then sell them like we normally do to the districts around us. So we'll look at trade or sell as we get more information to figure out where we're going to be at.
Do we have the pricing locked in on the 9?
Yes. So as far as the cost or the trade value, the cost of each of those buses, I should have said that, thank you, is $134,598 per bus.
So do you have a total figure for 9 of those, and then if we get the trade, you anticipate on the others?
I don't, because it's a lease to purchase. I can tell you what the annual lease payment would be.
Okay,
The annual lease payment would be $221,261.18. That's after trade-in values come off, and that we make that payment 5 years in a row. We don't own all 9 buses.
okay. All right. Questions? Then I will entertain a motion in a second to approve accepting the proposal from Midwest Bus Sales.
Motion?
Motion by Brad,
Second.
second by Desha. Roll call.
Jane, yes. Chad?
Yes.
Desha? Yes. Robin?
Yes.
Brad?
Yes.
Motion carries. Is there anything else before we go into closed session?
Robin, you'd asked about future projects. The
Yes.
Facilities and Transportation Committee talked a lot about that.
Okay,
I didn't know if you wanted to hear some of the things that we talked about. Okay. So we talked about softball field, getting batting cages, because that's an area that has not had those. Baseball's had 3 for a number of years.
Right.
We talked about landscaping issues at 5 different buildings and trying to get that corrected in several of those areas. Painting, transportation, obviously the south side remodel completion, junior high auditorium, stage renovations, the stage, the curtains, the tracking, all that is original to 1962. So that was one of the things I talked about in the budget that's built into our budget for this year. High school fine arts upgrades, so additional upgrades to the soundboard, the lights, those different items. ELC teacher parking lot, placing bleachers at the softball field in both left field and right field to increase the seating. It's our most used facility year round, so we want to look at that. Bleachers for the tennis courts to allow parents a place to sit and move them out of the team areas. So those are things. Parking lot here at the board office behind the building here to give us, when we do new teacher orientation, I think Mr. Johnson has a video of how bad it was here this year. JV baseball field. So we have 2 baseball fields out there, one that's used, one that's not. It's set up for high school, and so junior high can't really use it. We'd like to move the fence in, create an absolute junior high field that's built for them so that they can feel like they have a home and they're not putting up a temporary fence, moving a plate, doing all that work. And then high school and the sports complex, we need to paint the drive-in. So the stucco that's on the front of the high school, the company that helps us with the junior high, they came by and said, we don't want to do the work, but you need to paint it, because if you don't, you're going to have issues with it down the road. So just to take care of that. So that's one of the things on there. The student lot at the high school, replacing the student lot, but with that, you have to do the teacher lot and the auto shop lot as well, which we won't talk about numbers, it's just on the list. And then replacing all the flooring in the high school. So 178,000 square feet of flooring at the high school that needs to be replaced 25 years of age. So those were all items. There's also some additional asphalt work here and there, different places, south side, whatnot, but those were all items that we've talked about over the next 4 to 5 years that need to be addressed. So.
I think people still think that the high school is brand new.
It feels like it, doesn't
Not
it?
24 years old.
Wow.
All right, thank you.
Would it be all right if I asked a question, Robin? Since Mr. Fox had that great list, has there been any thought given to lighting the baseball diamond that we have at the high school?
Great
No.
question. That's a good question.
Yeah, so we have looked at that numerous times. I think the overall decision and conversation has always been that with the quality of the park district diamonds that we have in town, that to spend the money it would take to light ours to play a few night games is not worth it when we have the quality diamonds that the park district provides for us.
Okay.
With Evergreen and Paul Smith, it's just it's a very neat atmosphere in both of those locations. We just decided that our money was better spent on other items if we had those places to play.
Okay. It just seems that diamond is used more by the public through the year rather than by the schools district. And I don't know have any idea what the cost of lighting that as opposed to building the diamond would be?
Lighting that diamond was in the area of $250,000 with the poles and the lights.
It's a lot of money.
Yes. And that was a few years ago, so I don't know what it would be as of right now. So,
Speaking of a lot of money, is the turf project done? I mean, is it all finished?
So the field itself, we did final walkthroughs today, very small punch list. They still have to put the flagpole in, which that sleeve's gonna be put in on Thursday. And the flagpole will be installed there. A few padding things to put up, and then there's some fixing of asphalt in different places where, 350 trucks of dirt going out and 160 trucks of rock coming in.
Right.
We have to fix some asphalt. Pretty much it's good to go.
That's good.
Scoreboard looks
I was
amazing.
gonna say,
Yes.
did we have the practice round on the scoreboard already?
Yep.
Yeah, and it all went fine?
It went very well.
Yay, can't wait to see it Friday.
The,
We were told by Matco that, well, I better hold
Yeah.
off, because there's other people that are putting the same kind of stuff in, and somebody might pick up on it. We've done a very good job of getting our scoreboard updated.
Good.
Our tech guys that are doing it for us, we've received a lot of compliments from the scoreboard people on how far along we are, the things that they're doing. We have the not instant replay, but the live camera that actually Austin, Brad's son was on the field with the camera the other day during football practice, videoing the kids, and it was showing up on the screen, which really got the kids excited
That's pretty
over
cool.
that. So it's really fun. People are very excited. Football, their first day out there, they walked out there and they were just looking around. Same thing with soccer, and marching band was on there Saturday, and Mr. Mason was just singing praises today when I talked to him. So
That's awesome.
And Friday night?
Friday night is the, I guess, ribbon cutting ceremony. I don't know if we'll have a ribbon, but we'll be out there. Starts at 6:30, 7:30. 7:30, the donors will all have a chance to speak. Well, Mr. Johnson. It'll be a great night. We're going to have the video board on. We'll have some different things going on it. The sound on that is amazing. So it'll just be a nice night for everybody to come out and see.
And people get to walk on the field?
Yes, the first hour is just time to walk down there and see the field and walk around, see how the board does. that
Great.
thing. So
That's cool.
Hopefully we'll have a good crowd. Friday night, 6:30.
hopefully we'll have a good crowd and good weather. So.
Yes. Oh, true.
All right. Anything else? All right, if not, I will entertain a motion and a second to enter into closed session for the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the district, and collective negotiating matters between the district and its employees or the representatives, or deliberations concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employees.
Motion?
Motion by Brad,
Second?
second by Chad, roll call.
Jane, yes, Chad.
Yes.
Jessica? Yes. Robin?
Yes, Brad,
Yes.
motion carries. Okay.